Long time no see, everybody. Today what we're going to talk about is the problem called the longest substring without repeating characters. This is one of the Leetcode problem, and before I dive into explaining you about every single line of code, I want to just discuss the pseudocode or the generic picture so that we can figure out how to approach this problem, in the beginning, So to begin with, what I thought was maybe explain you what the problem is. So I can go ahead and go back to check and that is required for Leetcode. You can say longest substring without repeating characters, something like that. This was one of the problems listed in Leetcode, and it's a medium-sized problem. I'll explain you what this problem is. It says, given a string, find the length of the longest substring without repeating characters. So if the input is A, B, C, A, B, C, B, B, and the output is 3. So the reason is A, B, C, these ones, the length of this string is longest among all the possible substrings that does not have any repetitive characters. BBB is obvious one. Now let's take a look at this. BWWKEW. So the longest substring that without repeating character is WKE. So before we dive into this problem, first condition that might springs up in your brain is, okay, if I have any characters that are next to each other, then they will automatically just shut it down the possibility of being an answer. So in other words, if I were able to find a string that is not any repetitive next to each other, and if we kept remembering the max lengths of whatever that case of loop or iteration, then that's probably the key of solving this problem. So I sort of want to demonstrate the ideas from here, and then I'll go back and jump into my code and explain you this concept. So first of all, what I thought was maybe we can use two-pointer approach, meaning that we can so if there is an input like PWWKW, as you see, the length of this character is 6, and these are indexes of each characters. I can say, hey, I want to put actually I and then J is a pointer, and we kind of keeps looping through, and then see from I to J, right? J is kind of keep moving like this, kind of like moving like this, and then we kind of see from I to J, is there any this is brute force approach and checking whether that string is valid under satisfying these conditions. So, and then again, we need to keep track of each pointer and max length. So this is my pseudocode that I kind of think of. So preparing set of conditions such as two indices, containers, what am I saying here? So we need to set up each condition I or J. I can either code it up in Python, Java, doesn't matter. We also need to figure out how to keep those values in certain containers, meaning data structures in programming concept like list or hash set. So while starting pointer is looping from beginning to end, I want to keep checking the ending pointer and whether it already appears or not, meaning that I want to keep checking ending because I already know what's the initial starting pointer's that value the character is. I want to keep checking, hey, is that the value of the ending pointer? Does it already appear or not? So if not appear, if it has not appeared, then keep adding it to the container or data structure such as list or hash set and increment the frequency. If it appears, then we want to remember the current number of elements, meaning that we want to remember the maximum length, and then whatever the indices was after we want to clear the hash set, because it appears we only want to remember the max length, and we want to kind of repopulate those lists or hash set later. Next thing we need to do is we need to update new indices, meaning that let me give you an example. So if let's say J is here. Oh, look at this. The index sub 2 of this list is W, and W already appears. So what do we want to do? We want to move I from here, because from PWDBDs are going to be totally ruled out, and we want to take care of from I to J here. We want to say, okay, from W, let's keep checking. This is like how humans check, but in a programming concept, this is how you do this through a program. So I started coded up in Python previously, and I made it work, but I'll just help you explain how things going. So what I did was I write it down. Okay, PWKW is supposed to be input, and it's supposed to return 3. So I first say I equals 0, J equals 1, meaning that I don't want them to start at the same point. If this is an I, and I want to start with a J from here. And hold on one second so that I can kind of help you guys understand at the half and half like this. So I want to first of all generate hash sets equals set, meaning that 1 second. So try to demonstrate you guys by splitting up the screen here. Alright, so when I say hash set equals set, that means I want to generate an empty hash set. I want to first store the P in here. Okay, the list you're gonna use it later. When do it is it? We'll see. I want to store, I guess, the max length here. So while the I is less than length of string, meaning that while the I is less than 6 in this case, right? We want to keep iterating. So max length is 1 because we already stored 1. We want to add that star I variable at this point, and while when you're in another while loop, say the J, whatever the second index is, meaning the ending start index is still less than length, and we want to add one more. If that is not in hash set, right? If that does not appear yet, we want to add that one. We want to add that J index, and we want to increment the max, and also we want to keep going. But so think about the condition where it kind of gets out of this while loop. If the string is already in hash set, that's first condition. And second, if it's over the length of string, right? So if it's already in the hash set, we want to append the max. I mean, we want to just remember that length of max, and we want to clear the hash set. We want to move to J to I. We want to move I to the whatever the J index is, and we want to keep incrementing J. And the reason why I put the I less than length of string is later on we want to understand because if we keep incrementing I in my code, it's kind of what a quick and dirty way of doing it. It's like I will be greater than length of string, so we don't want that, and we want to add that hash set later, and we want to return the max of list. So I'm expecting 3, which is the answer, as you see in the Leetcode problem. So I0, P, WP, 2, W, C again, because there's a W, we want to move it to, we want to move the starting index, and we start from, hey, WKE, WKE, ooh, okay, so that's why the answer is. So I hope you understand this brute force algorithm real quick. This is one of the useful ways to solve it. I'm sure there are a more efficient way of doing it, but two-pointer approach is all the time interesting brute force solutions when you bump into a lot of interview questions and idea. I hope you enjoy my video, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.